Okay. So
Cool. All
then
right,
we just kind of
fun people.
go into the so it's still recording, but we go into the, like
Yeah.
the after thing, right? So I don't know if you had anything in mind. I might have a few
Oh, I mean,
starter
there's so many.
questions
I mean,
too,
there's
but
so many cool cases.
okay.
So it's just kind of like which one? We'll say there's my favorite Texas UFO case. It's not an exclusive, but I've definitely done my own research around it.
Okay.
And you may be familiar with it. Actually, I brought it up in the weird UFO game show
Mm,
that you were part of. It was one of the harder questions
they were all hard for
that
me.
I kind of was too generous probably in letting Bree get that one,
You gave all the
right?
answers to Brie ahead of time. I know it.
I swear I didn't.
She was so
She's just
good.
a UFO researcher
She was
too.
good.
So
Yeah,
it wasn't fair. It wasn't fair that you had to compete against her.
that's all
So
right.
next time maybe I'll
That's
just
good.
maybe what next time it'll be a paranormal list of
Oh,
questions.
that would be fun.
Right?
Yeah.
Ooh, that works. Yeah. Next time. Like even it out. But yeah, so anyways, it was part of that. But it's one of my favorite cases because a lot of people
Okay.
think everything started in Roswell.
Hmm.
Um, but if you look into the late 1800s, there were a
Oh.
bunch of big airship sightings. I mean, this was
Oh.
before drones, this was before the Goodyear blimp, but not
Okay.
necessarily before big balloons.
Hmm.
They were experimenting with big what's the other word for balloon? Hot air
Dirigibles.
balloons. What is the word I'm looking for? They
Okay.
did have like kind of big hot air balloony things, kind of
Okay.
at the time. This is late 1800s, before Wright brothers, before all that. And there were these big ships being seen all around the country,
Hmm.
California, and these were being seen so much so that Thomas Edison, I believe it's Thomas Edison, actually had to go on record saying, I did not create these, because people
No
were like,
way.
we know that these are real. So it's like
That's
if it's like if
crazy.
there was an alien spaceship and you're like, Elon Musk did it,
I was just thinking of that same exact
right?
thing.
Because
That's the
it
same.
does
Yeah.
happen. Because right now now if there are UFOs that look, and there are SpaceX sightings that look like UFOs from a long time ago. So explain that.
Really?
Um, and just because, yeah, like the Lubbock lights, I mean, it looks like
Oh
satellites, but
man.
before satellites, satellites, right?
Hmm.
We should have been
Yeah.
sending a fleet out. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, so how we can't explain everything that looks funky as just our own craft, then we're never going to be able to understand what's going on. And he sends those out so regularly now, and they'll get debunked. You'll see UFOs get debunked as SpaceX, but they weren't on track that night. And so it's like,
Wow.
yeah, so but it's just like that, right? So this was happening in late 1800s though.
Okay.
Um, and there were actually some of these accounts were associated with contact with um, humanoid beings. Some in one case, the witness described they said that they were from Mars. Um,
Hmm.
and so there were some really weird, and they were all basically all the same thing. By the way, I didn't even describe it. Cigar shaped, so very very large cigar
Interesting.
shaped
Okay.
craft, so pretty well documented newspapers and stuff at the time. Well, one of these craft, again, I mean, we don't have phones or videos from the day, so we have to
Sure.
go on people's word. Um, but there's an old newspaper and local reports of an 1897, presumably one of these craft, cigar shaped craft, crashed into the yard of a local judge in Aurora, Texas. So this is the Dallas, Texas area,
Hmm.
1897. And not only that, but the locals, went to the site and they found a body, recovered a dead, what they described as an alien body, a humanoid body, and
What?
buried it. And it actually had papers on it. Um, I did a story about it. In the newspaper, it claimed that there were like hieroglyph, like indecipherable hieroglyph, like symbols on these papers. Which, that I mean,
Oh,
that's
so the
kind of a
body
whole
had
other
papers
thing.
on it?
yeah, like hieroglyph kind of like writings, and that kind of like weird symbols, that's not uncommon. We've seen that with Roswell, with all the really great cases, weird writings. So anyways, they bury the body. Of course, the story is that the military swooped in, took all the evidence. So like there's still a headstone in Aurora. And if you go to the Aurora Cemetery, you'll see the alien mentioned as part of the history of the town. Some people say, well, it's part of the tourism of the town. So they're hoaxing it, right? But I don't believe that. But it happened so long ago, we don't have any living, people today that can recount this event and report. Apparently, MUFON, Mutual UFO Network, went in to investigate and found where the body might have been, but they were prevented from digging. Now, I mean, I would guess if there ever was a cigar craft or an alien, it would be not even at Area 51. It would be at some facility we don't even know. We truly don't know the name of.
Oh, no,
at this point.
That's true. Yeah, that's absolutely true.
So, like all these cases, we're left to wonder if, what happened. But that was definitely part of a bigger wave of sightings. There was an attempt even early on to debunk it as like a tourism thing. But when you look at it in the context of a lot of people who know about the Aurora, Texas incident or even debunk it have no idea about the other cigar ship sightings from the same years. Really? Yeah. So that, and that you'll find that a lot with people who debunk or pick apart, they'll ignore everything, they'll only look at a very small part of it.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm very surprised that no one has tried to dig that up over the years, but you just said that it's protected.
Well, I think people have, and I think right now you wouldn't really know where to dig. You wouldn't know where to go.
Okay.
But yeah, I think MUFON was prevented from exhuming anything, and I think they tried to. So I think the original locals, the locals just tried to do the right thing, really. Give it a proper burial and, leave well enough alone. And, but that's a great case. And that's well, so there could have very well have been some group that was privy to what was going on well before, 1947 Roswell or 1997 Phoenix Lights or, tic-tac-toe. 2000s, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy how it's like there's so many sightings and it's like they're not all hoaxes. No. It's like I look at this the same way I look at Bigfoot and cryptids. They're not all some dude making fake footprints and putting them on his boots. Like that's probably one or two of them, and I know there's been stories of that, but it's like there's truth to this stuff because there's so many sightings. It's nuts.
Well, it's like saying, well, singing's not real because Milli Vanilli. Like, I mean, that really of course, analogy. And the more sensational and more views there are, of course you're gonna have people. And also, this is a classified topic. Hoaxes. Here's the thing is I do not see, and I think this is good stuff for Patreon. Hey guys, I really think that you'll find this interesting. If I can remember what I was saying, yes. So I really don't receive hoaxes. Now, I mean, what I receive are misidentifications. So genuine sightings, but not of it's not this detailed. They're not sending me a video of a detailed CGI spacecraft or some, alien that they've paper mache or something like that. They're sending me an okay photo of what could be a Chinese lantern or what could be balloons or what could be maybe like a planet or something like that. A lot of the time, or it's just not a quality enough photo or video to conclude much. They're not they're not going to taking a picture of, a star and then making up this story about being abducted and sending
Right.
it to me. That's not what's happening. I'm getting very real, raw, sometimes messy reports, broken English a lot.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
very interesting.
not nobody that wants to be known. Like, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people, even if they share their names, they often don't follow up with me, even though I want to. They often want to be anonymous.
Mm.
They're not seeking any attention. They
Yeah.
don't follow up. If I do make a YouTube video related, they don't follow up like where's my money? Because I'm telling you, you guys aren't gonna make money. That's the thing. You
Right.
don't make money from faking
No.
UFO videos. There's this myth that there's something in it for you if you're hoaxing, and it's really a waste of time. Now, the part though, um, for your listeners, though, the interesting part where I see hoaxes happening are not from average Joes, are not from
Hmm.
people who want to make a buck on YouTube. There might be those people making a buck on YouTube posting them. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
they're the ones making them. Who's sending them that video is the question. Um, because Jerusalem 2011. Do you know of a UFO that was seen around then?
Ah, boy. I'm sorry. I don't. I
No, I
feel.
wouldn't expect you
Yeah.
to. I just didn't want
I
to.
mean,
I
I know
thought
what
that might be a
Jerusalem
good
is,
one,
but
like a good one you hadn't heard of.
okay. Okay.
Um, like that might be a good sighting related to what we're talking about, hoaxes and where do they come
Awesome. Awesome.
from and the
Okay.
source of them. So the Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem, right?
Okay. Gotcha.
A very important part of the world, lots
Yeah.
of
Totally.
religious significance.
You got it.
um, two videos from different angles show a ball of light hovering over the Dome of Rock,
What?
and then shooting off into the essentially stratosphere. It's incredible footage,
Oh wow.
to multiple angles.
Okay.
That immediately the UFO community, I think it even actually makes the news
Hmm.
for a little bit. Then right after that, or almost at the same time, but like right after, because I remember researching and seeing the initial videos.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Other pictures and photos get released. A still
Hmm.
photo that just shows a picture of the Dome of Rock with like a laser pointer over it gets posted, like mimicking the
Hmm.
sighting. A
Okay.
longer, like higher production movie version of the sighting gets posted. And it keeps getting attributed, like essentially to this like one hoaxer. But
Hmm.
anyways, what really happened, in my opinion, is you had two raw original sightings that went viral,
Mm-hmm.
and there was an immediate and successful effort
To
to
discredit it.
quiet that case.
Yep. That
Because
makes
what
sense.
happened was is the original videos, anytime you'd post about it, it would get taken down in forums and things like that, and the moderators
Wow.
would say, and one of the reasons I know that something was funky is because before even all this really, before there was even any investigation on the Jerusalem UFO or any of that,
Mm-hmm.
it started to, or any thorough investigation by anybody in a forum, the threads about that case started to 404 and delete. And the moderator said it was because
No
of this
way.
hoax site called All News Web that was reporting on it. Well,
Whoa.
here's the thing. All News Web is just I don't even know if they report on news anymore, or who ran it or
Mm-hmm.
what. It was just a website that reported on things, could report on anything. So what and it ended up having nothing to do, by the way, with accusations of, so it ended up having nothing to do with the Jerusalem UFO, but this major web forum ended up was able to justify taking down any threads about the sighting because All News Web was reporting on it.
Hmm.
All News Web had nothing to do with, they just reported on Jerusalem UFO like any other outlet.
Sure.
So what they were able to do is because they could blacklist All News Web And All News Web was, of course, going to report on every UFO sighting. Um, any UFO sighting that All News Web reported on that they didn't want a threat on, they could just kill. And you see that happening all the time today. You know, if you're a blacklisted outlet and you report on something, somebody can just say, well, that outlet is reporting on it. It must be fake news, or it must be
Yeah, sure.
like negative, right? So that was I don't know if I described the chain of events super well, but I just remember following the trail as a UFO researcher, you know, forum threads going down. No mainstream news is talking about the original videos. They're only talking about the picture hoax. And, you know, again, that was 2011. 2012 was actually when I started actively documenting sightings in Texas. So I think that case is like, wow, I gotta, like, because I can't be in Jerusalem. I can't. That's a hard trail to follow. But I can be here in real time and kind of know. And sure enough, I've had plenty of times where I've gone through that process and been able to verify that. I guess what I could leave your audience with is okay, so like, of all the cases here in Texas, what can I really verify? It's hard to verify alien abductions and encounters because they, if they are happening today, they seem to be happening in a dreamlike state for people, maybe almost remotely.
Weird. Yeah.
Right, or in situations where maybe you're under hypnosis or sleep paralysis or things like that. If you know, so that's hard to find evidence for. It's innately a very kind of scary, mysterious thing. Once you start adding in the whole abduction contactee, but they all have like the same things in common. All these, you know, accounts like missing time, gray alien, big black guys, telepathy, not being able to even know that you were abducted until a hypnotherapy regression, or nightmares, things like that help you bring back the memories, because that's how it would work, right? If there is an abduction phenomenon, they're not wanting us to be aware. We're not meant to be aware that it's happening. That I do get those reports, but I don't have the physical evidence. Now, what there are lots and lots of videos and photos of, like just endless, are the triangle UFOs. So there's absolutely a phenomenon that happens in America and Texas and all around the world. And I guess the classic triangle UFO, and of course there's misidentifications. It's easy to misidentify a plane or any three lights, right, in the sky as being a triangle. But there's plenty of good footage of, I guess you could say, dark, like pitch black with, three bright lights, hovering still triangles that will then, like that Jerusalem UFO movie, like take off at sudden speed or do maneuvers it shouldn't do. Sometimes I've heard reports where they seem to be like in a firefight almost, because one theory is, are these top secret military? Well, if they are, why are they what's going on? And so the triangle UFOs, I mean, that definitely I can vouch for, from the Texas, researcher desk here.
That's cool.
Can't go back in time to 1800s on that one, but I can verify the triangles though, for sure.
Thank you for sharing that extra stuff. That was really interesting. I'm going to actually try to look up Jerusalem UFO 2011 right after this, because that's intriguing. Hopefully it's out there.
You can find the original one. There were two original ones from different angles, but then there were at least like three follow-up. One was a clear photo, one was like a higher production, like longer one. I'd be curious to see if you can even find it. I haven't even looked for it anymore.
Oh well. Okay. I'll
Um,
look for it a little bit and see. Tell you what I find.
or maybe you
So
find a
yeah,
totally
we'll see.
new like group of videos.
Yeah, oh, that'd be crazy, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
I'd be curious.
Well, thank you, Jane.
Thank you. This
Yep.
was fun.
All right. Keep up the good work.
You too. Yeah, no, you too. Keep up the cryptozoology and I'll
You got it.
keep up the ufology.
We'll keep in touch, okay?
Yeah. All right. Sounds
Have a
good.
good one.
Bye.